Welcome to the Gathering Place podcast. My name is Joe Seaman, a real estate agent in the Augusta, Georgia, Aiken, North Augusta, South Carolina area. I run the J Properties Group, brokered by Maybarn Real Estate.
My name is Hope Seaman, and I am a chaos coordinator and a Jill of all trades.
And we're back with another episode of
the Gathering Place podcast.
Not Tasty Tuesday. So, anyways, the temperature of the political talk on social
media and how it trickles into everyday life.
I am so ready for this election to be over.
Yes.
No matter which way it goes, like I'm ready to stop hearing about the political talk. I'm done. Over.
And I get passionate
I've
about
had
it. I mean, I've had it too. And I have opinions. I'm not going to share them, but I do have opinions. But I don't think that putting them out in social media world is always the best way to do it. Or if you do choose to put it out in the social media realm of things, be open-minded, because there's going to be people in your circle that may not feel the way you feel. And it's like we've forgotten to remember that people are people. And when this election is over, we still have to do life with everybody on this planet. So we're just like, I can't even, it drives me nuts. And I myself have gotten caught up in some of it too. Like opinions, like, just so you know, everyone has an opinion, and we don't have to understand it or embrace it or accept it. But I think we do have to, what we need to do is go back and learn to respect other people's opinions instead of like tell them they're wrong. Like, you're an idiot, like you shouldn't believe that way. Like, you're not welcome around me because you believe this different way than I do. Or watching the debate a week or so ago, I had opinions. I had opinions about both sides of that debate. And I saw people on social media that I love that were like, basically said in a nutshell, I know who I'm going to delete off social media next. Well, y'all are just making it easier for me to delete. My friend groups are getting smaller. If you believe this or you side with this, unfriend me.
It's really sad that people are that way, too.
It really is.
Because that's very shallow, in my opinion.
It is.
That's pretty shallow, because at the end of the day and after this election, we all still have to do life together.
Yes.
And we all have to still...
And I'm still the same person just because I believe a little bit differently than you. Now, if you believe in things that are completely 100% inappropriate, I mean, that, like you're going to go kill somebody, I'm not going to support you. You're a pedophile, I'm not going to support you. But your way of doing life, if it's not affecting me personally and how I do my life, I don't care what you do. Is that too broad of a subject? Like, is that too broad of a statement?
I don't think that, because, if one of your friends posts something about their candidate and you don't necessarily agree with their candidate, is their post going to sway you from voting for your candidate?
Really not.
And so that's where that's kind of where I am at with I'm just done. I might just go off of social media for the next 4 weeks or so.
Well,
however long it is until the election.
Somebody, one of our friends actually said that, Pam Camilla, she was like, look, I'm not happy with the way the debate ended or the way it went down or whatever, but my opinion hasn't changed and my vote hasn't changed. And ultimately,
it's not gonna change. Everybody's already made their mind up who they're voting for. Can't we go ahead and have the election? It's October. Can we go ahead and do the election?
I mean,
so it can be done and over with, and we can get back to life.
Yeah,
and not. Everyone is so just aggressive right now, I think.
They are.
And it doesn't matter what realm of life you're in, housing, groceries, traffic, whatever it is, everyone is very aggressive.
What I wish we would do is spend more time on focusing on the things that we cannot tolerate in the next 4 years, which is I went to the grocery store yesterday and I bought stuff for dinner and a few like little extra things. Nothing off the wall, nothing. It was like a gallon of milk, some cheese things for snacks, the ingredients for supper, and I did get a Reese cup. Okay, I got that, and I can't remember what else I'd gotten.
Apple cinnamon bread that I'm going to forbid you to ever.
It was
get
so
again, 'cause
good.
it's so good.
Yes,
and
but
I'm
that was
trying
for
really
supper.
hard to lose some weight and get
Yeah.
back in shape, and you bring this very, very good apple cinnamon bread in the house. You're banned from ever bringing.
Well, I have
that in.
another loaf, so you got to finish that one, then we'll be done. But outside of that, it was $85. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care which side of the fence you're on, we can't handle that.
sustain
We
it
can't
anymore.
sustain that anymore. And I wish we could focus on those issues.
Well, even in housing, so you
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm in real estate. We work real estate. Even in housing, like house prices, the affordability of houses has gone out of the window for a lot of people because of interest rates. And not only because of interest rates, I made a TikTok that has gotten a lot of traction after the debate, but it is the affordability of houses. People will not be able to afford houses if these other things don't come down.
Yeah.
So people are running out of money because they're spending it on gas, groceries, electric, insurance, clothing for their kids. Like, everything is so expensive. They don't have any money for a down payment, for a $2,000, $3,000 a month house payment. They can't afford it.
Right.
And so something has got to correct. And
Whatever it is, it just needs to be.
yeah,
Those are the type things that we need to be focused on, but we're so focused on the ridiculous. I feel
on whose candidate is better and what they said, and I think it's all just stupid.
I think that
on both sides, I think it's both. I
honestly,
think both sides is stupid.
the way
they are handling.
we made our boys watch that debate
Yeah.
because when we were growing up, we would have
We would have.
that would have been
an
extra credit for school, like right. We would have had extra points if we did it, but it was I feel like years ago the debates were more about policies and not personal opinions.
Better, and it was just a lot of bashing each other. And I'm just
Yeah,
like,
and I'm
whatever.
just like,
so about 30 minutes in, I was like,
so
boys,
about-
y'all can go.
Yeah, y'all
because
gotta watch
it was
this.
like
This
it
is
was
like a circus.
It was a circus, and so.
I felt like it used to be very open to even down to the moderators. I felt like they were very neutral. I felt like it was like, here, what's your stance on this policy? What's your stance on that policy? And that's not what it was. It was like, oh, well, let me go clear what the other person just said. And there were many times during that debate, I wanted to just crawl under the table in embarrassment for our country in general. It was just embarrassing. And I think about other countries and they look at us and they have to be laughing. They have to, because it's just a mockery. And what I wish we could do is go back. Let's focus. Let's talk about how do you fix the prices at the gas pump? How do you fix the prices in the grocery store? People have to eat. Don't get me wrong, I have my own opinions about the border, but guess what? We can't even feed the people that we have, no matter what your stance is on the border. We can't feed the people in this country right now.
It's getting real.
I get real
political
passionate
here.
about it. I'm not
She
getting
is
political.
getting
I don't care.
political
I don't care what
here.
your stance is, either way, shape, or form. But we do need to be able to feed the people that are here. And the people that are here can't afford it.
Agreed. Mm-hmm.
And that's just where I'm at with the whole thing.
Wasn't necessarily like a friend. It was one of those like local pages. The post was, and I don't know if it was a sympathy reach. I don't know what it was, but I read on one of those local pages a mom saying, "Got 3 kids, and I'm paying rent, and this week I'm having to choose between do I pay rent or do I go get some food for me and my kids?" And that's kind of where we're at. And that's actually becoming, watch TikTok a lot, and there's a lot of people that have 2 job households, and they're like, we're drowning. We can't survive. 2 jobs, mom and dad, 2 kids, average house payment, average debt. And they're like, we can't survive because of how much everything costs. So anyway, something has to be done, because if something's not corrected, the dream of home ownership can be thrown out of the window. No one will be able to afford houses.
Yeah, I won't. That's going down political. We're not going political. We're just going to be neutral. We're going to talk about neutral. But it will not matter what kind of things are given to you as an incentive by the government. It's not going to help you if you can't afford it.
So I made a TikTok about, after the debate, one presidential candidate said that they were going to give a $25,000 tax credit, was the words exactly spoken. I went back and watched it, tax credit, and I repeated that on TikTok, and the keyboard warriors came out. I mean, they are like, no, it is a grant. You're spreading false information. Go back and educate yourself before you spread this kind of stuff. And I'm like, hold on, I know what I heard. And so it made me pause. And even after I'm starting to get all these hundreds of comments about it was not a tax credit, I was like, let me go find that clip and watch it again. And it was literally, she said, first time home buyer tax credit of $25,000. And that's what I repeated on TikTok. But, oh my Lord, the keyboard warriors came out. And so, anyways, I posted about, I didn't care if it was in the form of a tax credit. I didn't care if it was a grant. I didn't care if it was money off of the house. I didn't care if that president came and gave you cash money across the closing table. If the other things don't come down, gas, groceries, insurance, power, everything across the board, if that doesn't come down,
it's not going to
no one is going to get the $25,000 tax credit, tax grant, cash money, whatever. No one's going. It's not going to be.
It's not going to be helpful. I mean, you can't do anything with it.
So, anyways, yeah, I'm done with the political stuff.
It's just it's crazy, and it makes me scared for our kids.
So that's what I think about too. Is not necessarily even the next 4 years.
Like, no, but we got to start.
Are our kids going to be able to afford a house?
I don't know.
So
I'm totally fine. They live with us forever. But
yeah, but still, the reality of that
that's not going to happen.
Not very.
But I worry about what's going to happen with our kids just in general, just in the housing market, food. Like, I know I joking, like I put that story up, or I put a video up last night of my groceries and what the cost was. And I got a lot of people commenting their opinions or situations that they've been dealing with. And one of them is a really good friend of ours. And she's like, yeah, prices are going up and pay is not. And I understood what she was saying. Wages, hourly wages, people can't afford to give you a pay increase because we're seeing it on all levels, And so what do we do? To me, I guess the reason for this podcast, or the point I want to get across is, what can we do to make it better? I think first and foremost, we start treating people with kindness. We start listening to people and try to see where they're coming from instead of immediately shutting them down.
No matter their political
affiliation. Because I feel like we're really good about, we've got friends on both sides. And I mean, if you spend a lot of time with us, you will know what direction we lean in, but we do try.
We're not going to shove it down your throat.
We're not. And just down to this sweatshirt, I'm going to have to say, it says, Make America Pray Again. Our son actually, this is
has an apparel line.
He has an apparel line. And this is one of his shirts. And I encouraged him to make this shirt because this is where we need to get back to. We need to love people before we judge people. And our pastor did a series, or we just finished up a series, and it has stuck with me for weeks now. He said, grace comes before truth. You cannot beat somebody over the head to believe what you believe. But what you can do is show them grace and kindness and love, and eventually they will find truth. And we're just in this self-righteous, I stand on my convictions, I'm going to beat you down society, and we have to stop. Like that, you want to know what we can do? We have to stop. And it starts with you. It starts with me. And it's just being kinder to other people. And people want to know that they matter. And I believe that the mental health has gone 10 times more just more what's my
prevalent.
word? It's more prevalent. It's more affecting more individuals since the pandemic. We were locked down. The fear, like I feel like since the end of 2019, our country has been thriving
mentally
off of fear.
Yeah.
Fear for the pandemic, fear for finances, fear for wages, fear for whether you're going to keep your house, fear for what's next. And I do not think it's productive. And no wonder people are trying to figure out what to do and how they feel and what they believe, because just
they're in fear.
They're living in fear, and that we're not supposed to live in that.
I had a phone call this morning with someone, and she was like, I don't know that I can keep my house. And I said, call the bank, communicate with the bank, let them know that you're doing all you can do, and they will get a payment. You don't know how much it'll be, but call the bank, because the bank doesn't want your house. You know, back in 2018, when I changed careers, never have I ever sold a house before, and we changed careers, and we talk about this story all the time, but we were literally in jeopardy of losing our house, and I just kept that communication open with our bank, and we didn't lose our house. And so I was just like, call and have that conversation. And she was like, I don't want to do it. I'm scared. And I was like, I can't do it for you.
I think it's embarrassing. It's like, it's such
It is, but once you rip that Band-Aid off, I was so embarrassed. The first call I made to the bank, I was so humiliated. And I don't get too humiliated ever. I was so embarrassed. But once I ripped the Band-Aid off, I'd call them every 2 weeks. And it was like I had a friend, you know? And so it wasn't. It was just rip the Band-Aid off and do it. But that's where we're at, is that people don't have money. They don't, and they're just beat down over the last 4 years or so.
They've lived in fight or flight for so long.
Yes, and we have got to figure out how to get past that some kind of way and move past it so people can actually live and enjoy life again.
And I do not think, and again, I do not think that any political candidate is going to fix that for us. I don't. I think it starts with us and how we treat people and leaving them in better shape than we found them, and showing them grace, and just trying to let them know that they're heard and that they feel like someone cares. It starts with us. It doesn't. The political side of things is just creating that much more of a divide. So I'm like you.
Another post I read on Facebook this morning from a friend of mine. He was taking a flight. I don't know where he was flying to, but he was like, yeah, I got in my seat, and my seatmate was getting in her seat, introduced herself, and literally said, who are you voting for? Like, I was like, no, I don't know how I'd react to that.
I honestly don't know how I would react to that either.
Yeah.
Because that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous that you can't even...
Like, voting is a private thing.
Yeah, it really is.
You vote on your convictions, and...
You really do.
And, you know, where did it...
Used to be that everyone knew you don't talk about... Look,
Right.
Everyone would say, and I know this kind of... Don't talk about religion and don't talk about politics. Like, that's how it was when we were growing up.
Why does everyone feel like they need to...
Yes. Because whatever you say to me,
views,
it's not...
Even though I got a truck full of political stuff sitting in my truck. Why does everybody... Like, I'm talking to myself right now. Why does everyone feel the need to express their
No,
political
I think there's a
views.
difference. I think there's a difference in supporting
I was
what
catching
you.
myself as I was saying it.
I think there's something different about you supporting what you believe in versus you beating
But
it
still loving the
someone
other
down
person
with
who
it.
thinks differently than you.
There are many of our friends that think
Yeah.
very differently than I do, and they call me and we talk about
Yeah.
it. And they try to give me their point of view, and I try to give them my point of view, but I do not.
It's just like someone
Avoid
who
them at
loves
all
to
costs.
eat fish, and they eat fish every night. And I don't like fish. I will not. I don't like it. I don't like fish. And so it's the same thing. Just because I don't eat fish, are we not going to be friends?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just kind
So
of
why
like-
why does it do? And
I know we've really made it simple because there are some huge issues in the
There
world
are.
today, and we've really made that simple. But the concept is pretty much the
it
same. You
is.
still
If
have to
we
love
don't
people.
start treating each other with kindness, we're never going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, we are all political pawns. I'm just going to be honest. It doesn't matter what side that you go on. We are being used for someone else's agenda, and we need to stop that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll get fired up again. We probably need to end this one, and we can start another one because.
Well, it's just
On a side note, if you would like this sweatshirt, like it's really neat. It has this, and then he even has a verse on the sleeve. So, if you forget that we're supposed to be loving people, you can remember the verse when
Kessler
you're.
is doing extremely well
Yes.
with his sweatshirts. He has just generated this whole
This is
apparel
terrible.
business.
I want to make sure that I tell you the right thing.
He has generated this whole business.
Mm-hmm.
Literally told us about it one day. He has worked, earned money, and keeps restocking his sweatshirts
Mm-hmm.
and buys the screen print stuff and embroiders some. He has
Mm-hmm.
taught himself how to use that machine. It's
Really cool.
really
His
cool
website
just the way
is.
he operates.
It is
and does it.
mark441.com. So that's MARK, the number 1.com. And that's based off of one of his favorite verses, which is Mark 4:41. But yeah, so you can go there and
Shameless
get this
plug
shameless plug for my
for
kids.
our kids' business. But
okay.
anyways, remember to love people.
Yes.
As
Leave them in
your-
better shape than you found
We
them.
always talk about this at our team meetings on Thursdays is just love people. People are hurting so much, and this is not political. This was before the political arena began, but people are just hurting and they want to be seen. They want to be heard. I share the story, and it's probably been a year ago, and I share it with our team often because this is the state of the world. I was at the grocery store, run in, I'm my busy self, and, I'm not paying attention to anyone. And there was a lady that as was I leaving or she was leaving? I think she was leaving. I was entering the grocery store. She was in a wheelchair, an electric wheelchair, older lady. And I just smiled real big at her and said, "How are you today?" And she said, "I'm doing great." And she complimented me on my smile. And she said, "You're the first person that has spoke to me. And I've been here for an hour." And it made me pause and think, wow, everyone gets so busy.
We do.
We're so self-consumed about hurry up and get what I need done that we're not even looking, and then as I'm going through the grocery store, I'm thinking, what if she needed something off the top shelf? She couldn't have gotten it because she was in a wheelchair and nobody asked how she was doing or could she use some help. And so that's just how we try to train our boys. That is what we teach and preach here through our team is stop for a minute, slow down for a minute, recognize people. And all it takes is opening a door for someone, smiling at someone. Another example, church, we were leaving church on Sunday and the parking lot was off the Richter scale.
Oh, gosh.
Trying to get out of the parking lot was
Yeah.
wild. I literally motioned for a car, and I don't normally do that.
And I let in like 3.
Yeah,
just for
I
the
don't normally
record.
let anybody in front
My
of me.
boys
Like,
were
I'm going to
so
be bumper
mad
to
at
bumper.
me.
I ain't letting nobody in front of me.
My boys were
But
so mad, and I knew you had to go.
Yeah, and I had to go, like, to work.
It was like 12:25,
Yeah.
and you had to be at an open house at 1.
Set up and ready to go at 1, but I let this car in front of me, and I was like, proud of myself. But anyways, I go straight to
Go you.
Go Joe for letting someone in. But I go straight to my open house, and guess who the first guest that showed up was?
I think it's a cool story because I got to go back and tell the boys too because they were raging mad that I was letting all these people in
very
front.
first guest at the open house was the couple that I let in front of me. So I was like, praise Jesus. I showed Jesus that day and let y'all in front of me. And they didn't even know, but I was like, were y'all just at True North and trying to get out of the parking lot? And they were like, yes, it was crazy. I'm like, I'm the silver truck that let y'all in. Yeah, so buy this house from me. It's from the Lord. But anyways, show kindness.
Yes.
And just get rid of the political thoughts and vote for who you're going to vote for on election day. I don't even know when it is, but vote for who you're going to vote for. But don't be ugly to someone else just because they have a different view than you.
Exactly.
So, that is our episode for today, and that was probably as political as we're ever going to get on the Gathering Place podcast.
Yes.
Because we just don't like to go in that arena.
No, we don't.
So, we love each and every one of you.
We do.
No matter who you vote for.
Even after my grocery post last night, I said I'm going to start a GoFundMe for my groceries.
But somebody did say your nails was on point, so we could cut back on the nails and afford for more food.
Sir.
All right, we got to go before I get in some bad trouble.
Yes. Well,
that is it for this episode of the Gathering Place podcast.
podcast.
Catch us on the next one.